Alright, hi guys. Welcome to my first video. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, but today I want to go over the Zard list that I've been using for the past month, because I think it might be helpful for anyone going to LA, or any of the last few events before NAIC. So with this list, I've gotten 2 cup top 4s, top 128 at Indy, and then a cup win with the same 59. And then at Stockholm, Miloslav got top 16 with the same 60. So this is a pretty standard list, but I do kind of want to explain why you would play these exact counts and some of the specific inclusions. So I'm not going to talk about some of the more standard counts and inclusions because they're pretty self-explanatory, and also you would probably want to include them in any Zard list at this point. Alright, so I'll start with Charmander. So Heat Tackle's useful in a ton of matchups, as I'm sure you probably know, and you want to consistently have it available. So I did consider the Blazing Destruction Charmander for when Jirachi's prized or when you're bench locked, but ultimately, like especially with 2 Turo, you probably don't need it, and it's probably just it's a win more card in those scenarios. Right, Charmeleon. So 2 Fleur Veil is very good. It's fine into Mimikyu. You don't really need the other Charmeleon, even though it can kill Mimikyu. It makes playing around Devo a lot easier, and having 2 Charmeleon also synergizes well with 2 Turo, since it makes the Turo Zard play a lot easier to pull off. Alright, moving on to Jirachi. This was a meta call for Indy because of the expected increase in Lost Box, but it's still a great play right now because Lost Box is still very popular, and it still could increase more in play. But even if it stays like at the level it is right now, you probably want Jirachi, because the matchup feels pretty horrendous without it. It also makes Tina a much more favorable matchup. So Turo. In the mirror, there's a lot of times where you want to clean up your board twice. Once to heal one of your Zards, and then once to remove something undesirable from the bench. Like a 2-prizer, Manaphy, Jirachi, or yeah, just those, I guess. So Collapsed obviously does do the same thing, but you lose a bench space, which specifically in the mirror is pretty important. You can also Palpad Turo, but it's hard to find Palpad like early enough to uh to return Turo to the deck in time and then like find it. And then Roxanne. In general, it's just a great card for punishing the opponent for going on odd prizes. So Lost Box, for example, generally wants to take a 1-prize knockout and then a 2-prize knockout. So that just instantly puts them in Roxanne range, and that hurts a lot more than Iono did 3. It's also useful for situations where the opponent's trying to manipulate their deck so that they're able to draw out of Iono, like Cypher in Chien-Pao, for example. And then Palpad. So it is somewhat weak to Airy, but also losing Palpad to Airy isn't terrible. You can also just play Palpad when you draw it into it to like put back a singular boss or Turo or whatever. Yeah, being able to Palpad and then quick search for a supporter is really, really powerful, as opposed to having to like yell cheer. And then like sometimes if you want to gust on that turn, you have to prime catcher or counter catcher. Right, and then prime catcher. So unconditional gust is just broken. It also plays well into this build's concept of just like being close to neutral into everything. Max Belt is obviously an option. It's good into the mirror, good into Chien-Pao. But in the mirror specifically, killing Pidgeot early isn't necessarily as strong as you might think, since you sometimes want to leave it until the end of the game because it's an easy 2 prizes compared to Zard. Okay, so the cut for Jirachi was the choice belt. So I got this recommendation from my friend Michael the day before Indy. I did kind of get punished for the cut since I did poorly into Lost Box anyways. The Arc and Lugia matchups still felt winnable, even without belt, but they were definitely worse. Michael also played third boss over Palpad. It's a very viable option since the theoretical fourth boss from Palpad is pretty much never necessary. But I personally like the flexibility of Palpad a bit more. So I don't think there's really an objectively correct way to play Zard right now. This build is just what I've found success with and just enjoy playing, honestly. I prefer playing more defensively around Aerie and Diva in the mirror rather than actually making use of them. So yeah, this feels like a really solid list, and it should continue to be good until the end of the format. Shout out to Michael for all the Zard help and getting me on this list. And yeah, thanks for watching, and feel free to hit me up on Twitter with any questions or feedback.